Gannon has some harsh words for the course over at Parc des Familles. And this course, is it even ready for the Pro Tour yet? Let's talk about it. Welcome in everyone to Understable Discourse, the place you go when you want your disc golf news absolutely exceptional. And I'm going to take a moment here today to look at the Big Easy Open that we're going to be having going down this weekend down in Louisiana. And there's a lot to talk about, especially considering that the course is already kind of on the top of people's minds. The buzz is out there that maybe, just maybe, this course is either too hard or not ready for the Pro Tour. So some of the things that we're going to be diving into today are, we're going to be looking at the actual event itself, the course, the field, make some overall predictions, talk a little bit about the Teapad situation, and just kind of put a nice little bow on the Big Easy Open. And I apologize for the delay of getting this episode out. Typically it comes out on Wednesdays, but I do have a question for all of you, and I'll reiterate this later. Being able to wait until today allowed me to take in some extra information that I was not able to get otherwise had I put an episode out on Wednesday. So I'm wondering if it's worth it to everyone that I wait until the day before the event to drop the episode. That way I can have access to the press conference that goes on and a few other additional things. Or do you prefer the more static Wednesday release? I'll ask it again later, but let me know what you think. I'd be very curious to know whether you'd rather something that is right before the event, day of, so you can kind of get that last little bit of preparation, or something consistent always on a Wednesday. Now, most of the time that means a Thursday release, occasionally a Wednesday release on 4 round days. But let's get into the actual event. Enough about all that. So the Big Easy Open marks a brand new event coming to the Pro Tour in 2026, and hopefully in a great location, as it's located in Louisiana, down near New Orleans, in Jefferson Parish. And it's being held at the #1 course in the state. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this. A lot of people have been kind of going all over the place. It's kind of a spray and pray. Parc des Familles. That is the it's a pretty ambitious event for the Pro Tour, and we're going to see in a minute that maybe that it was a little too ambitious. So let's look at the actual course itself. And there's a lot to talk about here, as this now comes in at 12,370 feet for the MPO field and 9,403 feet for the FPO field, making it the longest course on tour. Some are saying the longest course that we've ever played before on the Pro Tour, and the pros are feeling that throughout their practice rounds and some of the comments that we're getting after the fact. And the course was designed by John Houck and his wife Dee, and part of the Houck disc golf course design team. And for those of you that don't know who John Houck is, if there was a Mount Rushmore for people who have designed courses, he might take up 2 heads on the Mount Rushmore because of what he's done throughout the country and the world in terms of overall course design. Very, very popular. Also some very specific opinions on the way courses should be designed. Very interesting. But his overall philosophy on this particular course design for the Big Easy Open revolves around the idea that if a professional player has a look for birdie inside C2, then they played the hole very well. And if for some reason they have a look inside C1 for birdie, they threw an exceptional elite level shot. That's garnered some interesting feedback. Some people saying that courses should be a little more scoreable. Others saying that the difficulty is exactly what they want to see coming from courses. And so the other things they've done is actually include some specific features to make the course a bit more difficult. He talks about how he worked with Jefferson Parish, which they put a lot of money and resources in the event, at one point breaking a record for the most number of people working on an event or a course at one given time in Pro Tour history. They created a brand new pond. And also word's been coming down for some people that the pond was actually located somewhere else and they had to rebuild the pond. And not only that, it's a pond that is fillable. That means that they can adjust the water level of the pond on the day of the event, which is wild. They also included the creation of different mounds in certain landing areas. Those mounds create awkward footing and stances for pros, so it almost creates like a fairway bunker of sorts. That is more, there's no penalty associated for being in it, but there's a natural penalty of having feet that are not on the same level and just being difficult to throw from. So those are some extra add-ons put in there, and the course itself already has natural defenses against the players. The first one, sand. The ground there is not a beautiful, lush, only grass surface. There are areas where there's a mix of sand in there, which makes the plant foot a little bit more loose, and it's tricky for certain run-ups. And you can even see that in like practice rounds and stuff, players would let the other players know. I think Paul Macbeth would like notify Matty O, like, hey, be careful of planting in the same place as I did because of the sand. So sand and definitely foot security is a factor on the line here. Another big one would be the cypress trees. They're beautiful, really neat to look at, especially the way the root system comes out of the ground, but they provide a very difficult obstacle to navigate in the fairways, and so much so that oftentimes you could have practiced a shot a lot, but you're never going to replicate every place you could land on that fairway, and you almost are going to have a unique look within the same 10-foot area. It could be extremely unique whether you're on the left side of that, the middle of that, the right of that. It's going to force players to have to be creative on the fly, and some of the kicks off these trees might prove very detrimental into a rough that people are saying may be unfair with how rough it truly is, forcing just pitch out only. So we'll see about that. And then the last thing are the critters, right? We joke about it. Oh, they're down there playing in the bayou, Louisiana, swamp, yada yada. There's gators down there, but gators are actually a concern, but a bigger concern are the snakes. We have heard from many pros so far that they've encountered snakes, not just like any old snakes, but actual like rattlesnakes, some dangerous water snakes on the course around. And a lot of these snakes are seeking refuge under the cypress tree roots. And there was a moment in the Jomez practice round where they stumbled across a pretty huge rattlesnake just chilling out in there. So the thing that I'm the most worried about is if a player has a disc near one of these cypress trees, they're not really aware of what to look for. They reach down and bam, they're caught, on the hand or arm from one of these rattlesnakes. And that's just the pros. This course is going to be filled with event staff and a crowd of people. I would like to say that no one's going to get hurt, but the likelihood is pretty high that something could happen. So what I want to know is, do they have staff prepared to handle situations? What happens if they get to a Teapad and a rattlesnake is sunbathing itself on the Teapad? Jake Hebenheimer's not going to exist on every single card. So what are they going to do in these situations? Do they have staff prepared should something happen and someone gets bit by, a venomous snake? I'm curious to know what they're going to do in those particular situations. But as for the actual course in terms of playing it, we don't have a big precedence here because it is new. It's the first time it's on the tour. While certain parts of the course may have existed already and certain players have talked about the difficulty they've experienced, this is largely a brand new format, significantly lengthened and altered holes. So to suggest, I believe at one point they were saying that every single hole is different in some way, shape, or form, whether it's the Teapad, the basket location, or the hole has been absolutely terraformed to no end. Everything is brand new, so we don't have precedent. When we talked to Yuli on Tour Life about the actual course itself, he was suggesting that some of the holes are probably barely ever going to get birdied by anybody, stressing that hole 18 might be one of the most difficult holes that we're going to see on the Pro Tour. And, a few of the holes, like hole 3, doesn't appear to be any like legitimate gaps on there. And the gaps that are there are very tiny. So a few kind of poke and hope style holes. And in the press conference, when being asked about the course itself, Gannon Burr, he said very, very plainly, he doesn't feel that this course is ready for Pro Tour play. Now, you can feel similar sentiments coming from other players as well, maybe not being so outright and direct with it, but a lot of players are saying that this course just may not be ready. So here's my biggest concern. It's the timing of things, right? It's that They had a 5-month window to get this course into a position to be ready to be seeded for grass. And John Houck was talking about this on the All Birdies No Bogeys podcast, where they had the 5 months, and during that time frame, their main source of machinery, the big like forest mulch or whatever, was down for like 6 weeks, something like that. So they were really pressed for time. December 10th hits that deadline, and the course closes. They have to get off of it. And then he said in the press conference today that the course was reopened for final touch-ups a week and a half ago. That is not a lot of time to get the course in that final form it should be for a Pro Tour level event. And so this whole thing kind of feels a little rushed to me. I mean, I think that we should probably be testing some of these courses as a venue before we do it, but it's the Pro Tour, and sometimes we fly by the seat of our pants. And also the course difficulty is something. There's a lot of people who argue that the courses shouldn't be this difficult. I'll say this. I love difficult courses. That first year of Northwood Black coming out, the hybrid layout, and we saw the hot round being like 7 under par. Awesome. I love to see the pros squirm a little bit. But there's a difference between being tough because there's a lot of flukiness to it, or some of the gaps don't exist, and then tough because it's designed to be incredibly difficult and it's executed well. I think about Northwood Black. I think about the Monster out in Tampere being an example of a course designed to be very hard, but also at the same time be fair. Kind of that idea of like, if you play poorly, it's because you actively, made bad shots, made poor decisions, not because you threw a shot down a fairway that made the most sense and there just were still too many trees there and you got a bad kick, that sort of thing. But I also, we play disc golf at courses with trees, so there's always going to be some degree of flukiness. The question is, how do you cut down on it the most without making it so wide open that it's just too easy? I don't envy course designers for the Pro Tour level for that very reason, because it feels like no matter what you do, you're never going to fully win. So I'm thankful that we have this difficult course to watch them play, but I do question whether or not it needed some more time to be kind of cut in and calibrated after the seeding was done and the course was reopened. But that's my opinion. And either way, no matter what you think, I think we're in for a really interesting event this weekend. Now, I'll talk real briefly about these Teapads, right? The Teapads have been absolutely debated to death ad nauseum on all across the places. I would encourage you to watch debate night this past week, where I had a lot to say about them. We talked about it on Tour Life, the All Birdies No Bogeys podcast, and wherever it is you're watching, people have been talking about these Teapads, and there's a lot of opinions on them. And I'll give you my high level points. Number one, I think it's great to see innovation. Anything we can do to innovate in disc golf, it's fantastic. Number two, I think it's awesome that these Teapads provide a safe way for players to run up and follow through on an actual teeing surface, as opposed to off the Teapad, onto the Teapad, then off the front of the Teapad, So I like that they're, from a safety perspective, that's great. However, they're still going to be a bit difficult for mud, because concrete Teapads and mud, they don't gel, but that's normal with most Teapads. Also, I think the lines look a little silly for me personally. I think they should have used that space for advertisements, or should have waited until the event was over, put the lines on for the locals, the AMs who want to play. I think it could be really helpful for that, but for the actual broadcast, I don't think it's that important. And if we hear broadcasters trying to describe things based upon the lines on the ground, I think it's just them trying to shoehorn in a conversation about the lines to make them seem relevant. I think they look a little bit silly, to be honest. And then the other one is that there's this idea that this is going to be some kind, this is the kind of stuff we need for standardization within our sport. The hard part about that is a lot of the courses that we have on tour are not privately owned courses, and don't necessarily have local municipalities that are just wanting to do tons of stuff and lots of work. So the idea that we bring in these large concrete Teapads, even not talking about the ones that are on hole 1 and 18, even the smaller version, they're still large concrete surfaces that are different than what the courses already have. And so if you're trying to keep the courses as natural as possible, and the fact that we don't own the courses on tour, it's going to be hard for these to be any kind of standard level on tour. But like I said, I'm happy to see innovation happening within the sport, and I like that pros are going to be a little bit safer, but I don't know that these are going to be the answer long term. In fact, at one point, John Houck said that his wife Dee, who was the original concept designer for these Teapads, has a larger Teapad design than even the big one in mind. And that the question I have with that is, how many cars can we park on the teeing surface before we realize it's just too much concrete to pour at every single course? So there's that. Looking at the field for the event, I mean, we're seeing, I think, a really interesting group of players that's a little bit lighter than normal because we don't have the European contingent. In fact, even the European players who were there for Supreme Flight Open, a number of them aren't even attending this event. While there are a few, this is probably a lighter field than most. We also had Paul McBeth, who just dropped out due to concerns with an infection. He's going back to Florida for blood work and some rest. So, hope everything turns out well for him there. And just a number of the players have only gotten a handful of rounds on this course. So this, to me, is going to be an anyone's ball game kind of scenario. And yeah, let's get into my predictions for the event. Here are the things that I know that pros have talked about, other people have talked about, in talking to Yuli about the course and a few others just south this previous weekend. Players, to be successful here, are going to have to be able to handle a lot of pressure and be very, very strong with their mental fortitude mid-round, because they're going to have the difficulty of this course, the natural pressure of the Pro Tour, also critters and stuff like that. Just, there's a lot that's going to be going on in their minds. So having mental toughness is going to be an absolute premium out there on the course. Another one is going to be, you're rewarded if you have the ability to go big with distance and go over top things. I think that's going to be a crucial skill to have out there. Creativity is another one, because you're going to be landing in areas that you're just going to have to, figure out what you're going to do to get to the basket. So scrambling and creativity is big. And then it sounds like C2 putting is going to also be really, really important. So considering all those factors, my FPO predictions are, I'll preface this, a little bit chalky because of the course itself. In third place, I'm thinking of consistency. I'm thinking of veteran level decision making on the course and someone who is incredibly mentally tough at all times. I'm taking Missy Gannon for third place in this event. She just seems like the kind of competitor who knows that, hey, I may have to slow it down here and take pars, and those pars are going to be enough. I'll be very curious to see how under par the winner of FPO is. I don't think it's going to be very, very far under par. For second place, I'll be honest, normally I wouldn't include this particular person on the podium for this event based upon everything that we know. However, she's won 4 A tiers this year and a Pro Tour event, and I promised that I would put respect on her name. Give me Owen Scoggins in second place. I'll take her in second for sure. Lastly, so in first place for the event for me, I think the perfect player that kind of exists between the Missy Own thing, that has a combination of power, a certain degree of consistency, the mental toughness, the experience on tour, I'm going to go with Holland Handley. Yes, very chalky podium, very just, of course you'd pick those three, but considering the average skill set on the FPO side of the aisle, and this is a new tough course, I just don't know that I can trust a lot of the younger competitors or lower level competitors to be able to rise to the occasion with this kind of difficult challenge. I do have some players to watch though. I think Taylor Chosick is definitely on the watch list for everyone after her performance at Supreme Flight, playing really well there. She has the power to handle the big shots out here, and her putting seems to be more on point than it's ever been before. So it's just the mental game. Like, will she be able to keep up mentally, across the board? She did say in her interview before that she was feeling more comfortable with every single round that she's played in practice so far. So we're going to see what happens for Taylor. Next up, I've got Hannah Wynn. Outside, if you take away hole 18 in round 2 at Supreme Flight Open, Hannah Wynn was right there in the conversation for that event. So she's got the skills. She's proving to be someone who we all need to keep an eye on out there. So she's on my watch list. And then lastly, this might be weird, Paige Pierce. Not a great event for her at Supreme Flight Open, and I'm not saying that she's going to win this event by any means, but I think you're going to see a big improvement coming out of Supreme Flight into this event, because when we're looking at really difficult courses on tour, you're thinking about the veterans who've been around for a while who can handle that like upgrade and difficulty. She's got good distance. I would say look for Paige Pierce to have an improvement from Supreme Flight into the Big Easy Open. Moving over to the MPO side, this is hard because I think anyone can win this one, but I've got a few players who I think have a better chance than the rest of the field. So, yeah, coming in third place for me here. Call him the luckiest player on tour. Call him whatever you like. Gannon cannot be left off a podium until he gives me a reason to leave him off the podium. He's just too good to not put there. I think that third place is a suitable position for him to be in. He 100% can win this event, and I will not be surprised if he does it. There are just a few players that I think I like a little bit better on this course, especially after having talked to Gannon and hearing his sentiments about the course. Third place feels like a good spot for him here. Second place for me, call it a comeback. Call it a comeback. This man birdied every single hole on this course in 5 hours, which I don't know that there are very many players on tour who could even accomplish that feat if you gave them 5 days. Anthony Barella has the power to go over top of everything or through everything, and I think he's looking for some revenge after the Supreme Flight Open. So I've got Anthony Barella coming in second place here. Now, for me in first place, when we think about players on tour that are known for hitting tight tunnels, low ceilings, this man always comes to mind every single time. He's used to playing in like these hot and boggy conditions, more than a lot of others are. I'm giving this event to Calvin Heimberg. Big bounce back from last event. I think Calvin Heimberg takes this one down. Players to watch for me, Ricky Wysocki, just coming off of a big win. We know he's a fantastic scrambler. I don't know that he goes back-to-back here. He could very well do that. I think of all the players I have in here to watch, he's the one most likely to pop off and win the event. So I think Ricky's definitely on the watch list. Another one is Aaron Gossage. He has a massive arm, one of the best throwers we have on tour. Maybe the best thrower we have on tour after Gannon Burr. So I think he's someone we have to watch for sure. I have a little side bet going on with Paul Ulibarri on who's going to perform better between Aaron Gossage, who he's picking, and then I'm also going to put Chris Dickerson on this list. Yes, maybe not as much distance as some of the others. He can throw a lot further than people realize, but Chris Dickerson has been out there on that course since the moment the course opened. So I think he has a lot of experience here. I think he's going to be able to keep his disc clean and just be that savvy veteran who knows how to play smart down the stretch. So I think Chris Dickerson's someone to watch. Hopefully Dickerson beats Yuli, and I can win that bet between the two of us. The last one is going to be Eagle McMahon. Had a really, I would say, a positive performance at the Supreme Flight Open and an incredible performance at Throwdown the Mountain. Eagle feels like he's sort of coming into form a little bit. This is a different kind of course for him, but he has all the arm talent in the world to be competitive here, so he's definitely on my watch list for the Big Easy Open. So wrapping all that up with a nice little bow for you. Final thoughts. I think this is going to be an incredibly difficult event. I think we're going to be surprised. Someone's going to pop off in ways that we don't expect. And I'm excited to see it happen. I hope that nobody gets bit by a snake while they're out there, that nobody gets their finger chomped off by a gator. And, I mean, I guess if it does happen, it's going to be incredible content. And the Pro Tour is going to, I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope that no one gets hurt while they're out there. But, you know, what do you think about this course? What do you think about this? Is it too soon to go here? Should they have put more time in? Who do you think's going to win? Am I absolutely wrong about my predictions? Is there somebody that I didn't mention that, like, I'm crazy for not mentioning? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, I also want to know about that question that I asked you earlier. You know, being able to have the context of the press conference and a few other details and videos and resources that I may not have had before. Do you like having these videos come out the day before the event so you can have that last, like, here's a summary of everything I need to know? Or would you prefer that they come out statically every Wednesday with, you know, no real change? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to make sure to serve you guys the best way that I possibly can. And yeah, but that's been it. Please make sure, if you like what you heard today, go down and like the video, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way you can support the growth of this channel. We're less than 200 subscribers away from hitting that awesome 1,000 subscriber mark. The road to 1,000 is here upon us. I cannot wait. When I hit 1,000, I'm gonna be doing a nice big fat giveaway. So let's get at it. Hope you enjoyed the episode, folks. And, make sure you go watch the Big Easy Open. Best of luck to everyone out there. I'll see you next time for more disc golf news.